Hi there, welcome to Crafty Shenanigans. I'm Shannon Smith, and today I want to share with you some backgrounds that I made using pigment powders and some other fun surprises that I will show you. And also, we're going to pull out our gel presses and play with those. So come and play with me and we will have some fun. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my gel press. I have used this before on some of my videos. Hopefully you're familiar with it, but if you're not, this is something really fun to add to your crafting arsenal. Let me just grab it out. So this, I like to keep the backing on mine. You don't need to, but I just prefer to. And I am just gonna get started with some pigment powders. Now these are Nuance powders. I bought these through Magenta. These are beautiful. They are so much fun. And there's a lot of things you can do with them. You can watercolor with them, which is probably the most common thing people do. But I thought it would be kind of fun to try something just a little bit different. And so I'm just going to sprinkle just a tiny bit. A little goes a long way. And as you can see, I don't even open the whole lid. I just poked a little hole in the top and you just sprinkle it through that. And I'm just gonna get that out of the way. And on this one, I think I'll use a little bit more of our pink. This is coral. This other one was raspberry. And I think I want just a little bit more of the coral on there. Maybe just even a little bit more. And we're going to use some of our bright yellow. I'll use a pretty generous amount of that as well. Okay. And now I'm going to use a little bit of, this is Cerulean Blue. I'm not sure if I said that right, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, which there's a good chance of. And this is grass green. We'll just stick a little bit of that on there. And I've got plenty of powder on there. You probably need not even that much, but I just wanted to make sure that I had plenty. So then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a piece of fairly heavy, I used very heavy cardstock. This is, you can see it's a nice heavy one. And I am just going to take a little spritzer and I'm just squirting it with water. You can see I've, even that little bit got on there from whatever. It spreads. And I want to get it nice and wet, but not ridiculously wet, because actually I'm just going to shake it off too. You won't see all of it because I don't have room on the camera to do all of it, but I'm going to shake it out so that it's not dripping at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to just lay that right on my gel press. And just push on that a little bit. And let's see what we've got. Look how fun that is. I think that's fun all by itself, but I kind of want a little bit more color spread out. So I'm gonna spray it a little bit more and maybe we'll try it again. See if we can get a little bit more color. I like that too. And then I'm just gonna kind of pick up the color on the corners. And then I'll just take a paper towel. Just kind of dab it in a few places. And the nice thing about this is if I want to, let's say I want a little bit more coral, I can just go back over it and add a little bit. I don't know what's going on with my paper there, but we'll trim that off anyway, so it won't matter. So now you can see where it's wet, it's already spreading. But if I want it to be a little bit more watery, a little less flecky, I can go ahead and I can squirt it again. And then I'll just go ahead and take my paper towel and blot it. All right, I kind of want it to go a little bit further to the edges. So I'm just gonna work that color from whatever's left on my gel press. And trust me, those little powders, they go a long way. So they're there, you will find them. And then I'm gonna let that dry and I will come back in just a second. Okay, so I've got this pretty much dry. I'm gonna go ahead, and I did trim it down a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead, this is my trusty, it's not very pretty, but it's very functional. It's where I do any kind of sprays. It's just an old wash tub. Okay, so this is DecoArt media. This is Shimmer Mister, and I purchased this from Artisan Designs, which I love. You should check them out if you haven't, because they have a lot of amazing products. And this actually is really fun. Look how easy that is. You saw how fast that was. I love backgrounds that are just super simple, no-brainer, easy things to make. And this is just gonna take this to the next level. So we're just gonna spray that. And I'm hoping that the camera will pick up the shimmer. I'm a sucker for shimmer. Let's check it out. And actually, it's not a bad idea when you're using something like this to just go right ahead and clean the nozzle right after while it's still wet. That way you get a clean, because I had kind of a funny spray there, you just saw. If I had cleaned my nozzle last time, that would not have been doing that. So anyway, we'll take that out of there and I'll kind of tilt it so you can see, hopefully you can kind of pick up the shimmer. Isn't that pretty? So we'll let that dry a little bit. And actually, you know, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and show you a few of the backgrounds that I've made just doing this technique. Like I said, super, super simple and just easy. Just have fun to just put a sentiment on that and you're good. Here's just a few different turnouts with different color combinations. Now this one's kind of fun. This one, again, I used products from Artisan Designs. I actually used this really fun stencil. This is called Sentiment Extreme 1. And I just went ahead and I laid this across. Actually, first what I did, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Let me find my other stencil. Okay, so this stencil is called Daisy Burst. This is from Stacy's Garden. And I actually just laid the stencil on before I sprayed. You can kind of see my pattern there somewhere, if I can line it up. So it's kind of hard to see in the light, but hopefully you can. Excuse me. So you can see there's just a fun pattern, but it's pretty subtle, but just another fun option. I love the stencil, isn't that pretty? Again, Artisan Design. Pete Simpson is a great guy. You have got to check out his stuff. He's got some beautiful products. So this is just one option for a background. And again, this little black flecking here, that is again the DecoArt. And I just flicked that. I'll show you what I did on that. I'll just do a really quick demo of that, because I did do it on the finished card. I'll show you. So I just took it from the bottom and simply tapped the cap on that, and that gave me the nice little splotchy pattern that I wanted. So there you have that. Let me go ahead and bring in the card. Oh, here's another one I didn't show you. Okay, so here are some of our backgrounds now. You can see you can get a whole slew of different things from the same technique. And these are just using these colors, just different just different ratios. And there's lots of different companies out there that have pigment powders and lots of different combinations you could come up with. So I'm just going to bring in the card. So I made this one. I used this circle is from Gina Marie, and I just went ahead and cut it out of black, as you can see. And then I used Pete's stencil here again. And then this flower actually happens to be one that Darren designed. And if you go to my blog, craftyshenanigans.com, then you will find this flower over the weekend. We will put it up and you can just download that for free. But these beautiful leaves are actually part of one of Pete's sets from Artisan Design. This is Freeline Fantasy Florals, and I think I have the whole name. Oh, Nettlebloom, Build a Flora. This, I just borrowed the petals from. I was pretty set on the daisy. I wanted something big and bold, and these are so pretty. I'm going to do something else with those. But the way that I went ahead and did the leaves on this is I just went ahead and stamped them, and then I sprayed them with Dilutions Shimmer Spray. And I used a little bit, this is, I believe, discontinued, but this is FSJ Green Olive Color Splash. And as far as the daisy goes, I had colored it and then I just thought, oh, I don't know, I think I want to do something more. So I actually took some of their Outrageous Pink splash and used that. And I blotted it out quite a bit so it wasn't quite so concentrated. And then I went over that with Sparkle Silk and used Nuvo drops to give this little texture. And actually underneath that I did use Copic markers. So you can kind of see there was quite a bit going into that flower, but I didn't want to go into all of that. I wanted to mostly just focus on the background. And I just think that's so much fun. What a fun, just easy card. And you could, it's another one of those ones you could do an assembly line, just have like a bunch of them made at the same time. I have all of these beautiful backgrounds that I'm going to hold on to that I can just whip up a card when I just need something in a hurry. I love to have a bunch of those. When I get out my my GelPress, I just plan on playing for a little while and making a bunch of backgrounds because it's kind of messy. It kind of is one of those things you want to just make the use of it when you've got it out and get a lot of it done. And I enjoy it a lot. There's a lot of fun things you can do with it. All right, well, I hope that you learned something fun and that maybe you were inspired to try something new, especially if you have a GelPress. There are so many things you can do with it and so many fun mediums you can use on it. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you will join me again, and please subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks again.